to the Business Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Dio. I have a very special guest today, Ro Dahan of Dahan Enterprises. He's founder and CEO. Welcome, Ro.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Ro, tell us a little bit about your story. I think it's a pretty interesting one, but I'll let you go into it when it comes to where you started and where you are now.
Sure. I came to this country when I was 19 years old. Pretty much I had no money, no experience, no contacts, like a lot of people today. And I was young also, and I had a big accent. So I had all those obstacles going against me. So when I first started, I started actually in the transportation business, which was a cab driver. I figured, what can put quick money in my pocket, and also what kind of occupation I can have that can have contacts with people on a daily basis and meet people. And also I learned New Orleans pretty quick. I knew everything in and out in the city because of this occupation, my occupation. And this is how I started basically in the United States. I remember it was 1997. It was Super Bowl 31. I think it was the Packers against the Patriots game. Yeah. And I was called for a ride in the Windsor Court Hotel, which was back then the only 5-star hotel in New Orleans. And I had this couple that came downstairs, looked like $1 million, I'm telling you, man, all flashy, and you can see they had money on them. And they told me to take them to the Super Bowl game. And I started conversing with them, and I asked them, what do you guys do? And real estate. All the money was made by real estate. I was so intrigued by it that I went home. I couldn't even sleep that day. And I was watching TV, and there was an infomercial that popped up. Carlton Sheets, no money down. Buy real estate, no money down. I'm like, man, this is me. So I bought this course, and I learned everything about this course. I started buying books and reading books. Got my real estate license, actually. And 1998, I purchased my first property with no money down. And this is how I started my venture over here with real estate.
What was the first property like, and what issues did you run into with purchasing that first property?
So I purchased, it was a single home. It was actually the house that I was residing in for almost 10 years. I had my 2 girls over there, and it was the first property that I purchased over here in the United States ever. I mean, anywhere. I didn't even own anything before that. It was a pretty dilapidated house that needed a lot of renovations. And also in New Orleans, there's a lot of settlement. It's also needed to be shored up. So it was some quite of renovations that needs to be done to it. I was so young, I wasn't scared of anything. So I just dove into it. Did everything from scratch. All the mistakes that you can make, I made. But it was completed. I purchased it for $78,000. I didn't have any money. I got actually my mother-in-law to put $100,000 on a CD and got a loan against that CD. So she didn't actually give me the money. She made money on the CD in the bank, and the bank gave me 80% of the loan, and then they gave me 80% of the renovations cost.
Oh, wow.
So basically no money down. I was 120, 125 all in, and I still own this house until today. It's rented, and it's just appraised for over $400,000.
Amazing. How did you choose New Orleans out of all the places?
So my father actually came here in 1991. And when he stayed over here in 1994, I just followed him over here. I said, well, let me try the United States, the American dream. Everybody hear about the American dream. And it's the greatest thing that you can do is have a lot of ambition and actually follow a dream and make it come true. So that's basically why I came to New Orleans. And I never left New Orleans. I always lived in New Orleans. People are very surprised when they hear that, because a lot of Israelis, Jewish people, you see them in Florida, in New York, in California. I'm in Louisiana. I'm like, Louisiana? What are you doing in Louisiana? Is there any Jewish people over there? So yes, it's interesting.
Oh, that's great. And tell me how it blossomed into what it is today. Like, what are you up to today?
So today I do a lot of real estate development. I own a lot of apartments, and I also in the medical transportation company. I bought this company in 2016, and we have about 150 employees right now. We are the biggest company in Louisiana doing what we're doing as far as the non-emergency medical and behavioral health transportation. And I also have the same company we opened in West Palm Beach a year and a half ago. So we operate in West Palm Beach as well.
And how did you decide to go into the medical transportation business?
So I told you I was a cab driver, and my father actually also was in the cab business. During Katrina, we lost about 100 vehicles over here in the flood. We had no insurance back then because all the vehicles were old police cars, $2,000-$3,000 a car. You didn't have full coverage. Nobody offered full coverage on a car, on a vehicle like that. We lost everything. In 2008, I reopened it again and started purchasing vehicles. 2012, we spent about $2 million on brand new vehicles because some laws got changed over here in New Orleans. And Uber came in, and Uber basically wiped the cab business down like almost anywhere else. We don't have medallions over here, so it's just licenses. So it didn't hold their value. Every license we had was worth about $60,000. And now it's about $500.
Oh, got it.
So I had an opportunity to purchase this this behavioral health transportation company through a broker that knew me, and he knew that I'm in the transportation business. So he called me and he showed me that this company that this gentleman wanted to sell, and brought it to my CPA, looked at the numbers, calculations, did some calculation, and boom, we bought it in 2016, and I grew it from a 20 employee business to about 150 employee business.
Amazing. What do you think contributed to the momentum of that growth? Given Katrina and that everything was gone, like what did you have to do along that way?
After every disaster, you have prosperity. That's something that we learn in Judaism, and it's something that I see in any state over here, in any place in the world, actually. After every disaster, after Katrina, for example, real estate was down to the ground over here. But whoever bought real estate back then and whoever invested in the right places made a killing afterwards because everybody were afraid. And when you have fear, people don't want to do anything. Right now, you see it in the real estate market that people have fear because interest rate going up. Everybody's talking about the recessions that's coming. It's going to be something so huge, and it will be. But whoever is going to dive in and make the moves right now is the one who's going to make it. So basically, don't be scared to be bold and do something that's opposite from other people, because this is what's going to make you different from the rest of the crowd. And that's what there's only 1 or 2% successful people in the world today, because they do stuff that other people don't want to do.
Yeah, it's what really sticks out is even though you were driving cabs, you still had a propensity to listen to the people that were in the cabs, right? So to ask those questions and to be curious about it, it's really fascinating. I love it.
Absolutely. And my wife also, she told me, look, you love real estate. Why don't you go get your license, start learning like you did with the cabs, start learning the business with inside and see how can you grow with it. I know you're not going to be an agent because you don't like to sell. You like to purchase, you like to negotiate, you like to develop. And that's really what happened. So listen to her, got my license, start learning everything inside. And my second deal, by the way, came from within my office before it came to the MLS. It was a 5-unit building in New Orleans that wasn't listed. One of the agents told me about it. It was $90,000. I purchased it for $70,000 with, again, no money down. I brought a partner that put all the money in. And within 3 months, we flipped it, doing nothing to it, for $290,000.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Out of your career, what would you consider the best business decision you've made so far?
So by far, real estate, buying real estate and holding real estate long-term. Also buying my medical transportation company and making the move from the cab business to the medical transportation company, because I saw what happened to the cab business. If I was holding it longer, I would have lost a lot of money on it.
In contrast to that, what would you say is your worst business decision you've made? thus far?
Not holding real estate long enough. by far, flipping properties. Like I told you, like the property that I flipped in 3 months and made almost $200,000 on it, worth almost $1.2 million today. So big difference between making $200,000 on a flip than $1.2 million. But also it's depending on your circumcision, because if you need the money and you're new in this game, you like to see the cash coming in. But if you're more seasoned, you know that cash flow is king. You know, you get rent coming in, appreciation, depreciation. And if you need money, you just go refinance and get cash back from the bank, interest free. You don't have to pay anything on it as far as taxes. So the game is long in the long haul. You know, you have to hold it for a long time.
When you think about kind of your whole life story and what you've done thus far, I mean, what would you want your legacy to be, and how would you define legacy?
So I don't define legacy in monetary ways. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how many building you have with your name on them. It does not really matter. What matters when you get old, really, is your kid still in touch with you? Is your kid still coming to the holidays to be with you? Do you give back to your community? Are you a good person? Are you a person that people like to be around? Can you teach other people what you have, your knowledge that you have? Or you just kept everything to yourself? And this is really what the legacy is all about. When I pass away, God willing, in 120 years, is God going to judge me in a favored way because of the way I acted in this world? Or am I going to be punished, if you want to call it punished, because the way I acted, because I was selfish, I didn't share, I didn't give away, I wasn't nice to my kids or to my family, to other people around me? This is basically your legacy. You want to make sure that you remember by your family and your people that's close to you. This is really what's important in life, because all of this monetary thing, you're not taking anything with you.
If you were to kind of look at the things that you've learned along the way, usually what ends up happening is you start to find what you're good at and what you're not good at. What are specific skills that you realized, you know what, I'm pretty good at this?
I'm not detail oriented. So you can tell me something and I'll understand it within a few seconds. I don't like to have long conversation and explanations. If I don't understand something, I will ask you, but I like to delegate most of the stuff that I do when it's detail oriented to other people that do it better than me, because I don't have the attention span to sit down and read long contracts and, for example, or deal with issues that are more detail oriented. So I will surround myself with people that are better than me in all of that stuff. I will have an excellent CPA. I will have an excellent consultation as far as my insurance people, my lawyers, everything that I need to have surrounded me. I want to make sure that they are smarter than me. They know better than I do what needs to be done, and that I can learn from them. I know that I'm good in delegate. I'm good about bringing everybody together and have all the picture in the end with all the dots connected in one spot.
Great. So where can we find more about you and what you're up to?
So I got a website. It's called rodahan.com, RODAHAN.com. And I give a lot of free stuff over there. We have 10 pathways to success according to Judaism. Also, I give 30 minutes free consultations. And if you fill up a consultation form over there and time, I'll be more than happy to consult you and help you with your real estate needs or any business needs that you have any questions on. And definitely contact me. I'll be more than happy to hear about, about other people's needs. Absolutely.
Well, Ro, thank you so much. Dahan Enterprises. Hope you have a good one.
I appreciate it. Thank you.